Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to be with the Zepeda family. At this moment, we're asking if anyone would like to come up and share some memories, anything you'd like to share. En este momento, vamos a preguntar si alguien gusta venir a hablar, a decir algo, recuerdos de Mr. Zepeda. Si gusta para venir a hablar aquí, nomás a compartir algo que ustedes se acuerdan o algo, lugares que fueron o algo para compartir. His favorite foods or places that you all shared with him. So you're welcome to come up here. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, mic talking. Thank you all for coming by to celebrate Roberto Zepeda's life. Um, I haven't known him for long. I've only known him for 5 years. That's a lot less than most of the people here. But within that time, I have learned that he is this amazing person who made an impact on my life. And I cannot thank him enough for that, for raising his grandchildren the best way he can, for raising, not raising, for being just an amazing person as he was. It was a while ago when I had asked him for his permission to take his granddaughter's hand in marriage, and he gave me his blessing. And because of him, I have met my most wonderful person in my life. So for that, I thank him.
Hi, for those who don't know me, I'm Ashley. I'm his first granddaughter. When I tell you this man was strong, he was very strong. So much so that when a emu sort of scratched my grandfather, he refused to let my grandmother, take him to the hospital. In his words, he would say, "Porque whatever they are gonna do over there, I can do it here for free." We all knew that. I don't know if any of you have heard anything like that from him. He survived so much. He helped take care of me when my mom was working a full-time job as a single mom. He was always there for me and my two sisters and my brother. He was the funniest man. He had one heck of a sense of humor. I'm going to miss the fact that I can no longer hear him and my sister argue about who's the best football team. Although we can never go against him. But he loved he loved the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to miss every morning when he would want coffee and some type of pan dulce or cupcake or donut. He loved sugar. His favorite thing to snack on would most likely be any kind of chocolate bar, but never got diabetes. That's how strong he was. He was a jokester as well, a big jokester. My sister and I were watching him once while my grandmother was out doing errands. We heard a loud bang coming from his room, and we thought the worst, which shame on us. Shame on us for He accidentally dropped his tin can of mixed nuts, which of course he loved to snack on. And we both ran in there thinking he had fallen. So we both looked down and say, "Grandpa, you dropped your nuts." And he looks down and says, "No, mija, the last time I checked, I still had them." That was him. He was the funniest, sweetest man. I'm gonna miss him. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Norma Linda Zepeda, his firstborn from his first family. My brother Bobby is here, my sister Sandra's here, my niece and my nephew Caitlin, RJ's outside, Alec is here, my aunts, my cousins and uncles are here. My dad was a wonderful dad. He was my first love, my superhero. He was my role model. I didn't get the hunting and the fishing gene from him. I don't hunt, I don't fish. I'm an animal lover. But the gardening, I got that from my dad. The dancing, the flirting. Dad said it wasn't flirting, it was PR. So I'm really good at PR too. I got that from my dad. I remember when we were little, my dad started off as a salesman, and he worked for a company that's no longer there. He was a traveling salesman for Azteca Furniture. What a lot of people don't know is my dad was a fireman for a while. Sandra and Bobby were mascots. We have a picture of them when they were little in front of the fire truck with the other little girl, Mary Lou Duarte, who ended up being their goddaughter. And she sent her condolences too. But through the police department, this is his final picture, his final job. No, actually not the final job, because he did work after that. But through the McAllen Police Department, he was a meter reader, animal control police officer, and he retired as an airport police officer. After that, my dad was a workaholic, and that's something else that I get from him. When Dad was coming in, I was going out, and we'd see each other just like that, because we used to have 2 and 3 jobs. We were workaholics. We like working. It's not that we didn't want to be with the family. We just loved our jobs. Smoked once in a while, whenever we'd go on vacation, and my mom would tell him to roll down the window, think of the children. So thank God we don't have secondhand smoke. We don't have cancer from secondhand smoke. He liked to drink, so some people remember him from his drinking days. His favorite hangout at the end was Vaches, and we thought maybe we should have something at Vaches, but no, we were just kidding about that. I want to thank Sylvia, his second wife, for taking care of my dad and loving him as you did to the 2 granddaughters that he raised. I'm sure he loved you very much, because he always loved little girls. He did. We had 2. We had Caitlin, 1, but that was my dad. A real sweet man. Everybody knew him. That's the reason that none of us went to jail over here, because everybody would say, I'm going to tell your parents. We were scared. In my time, we respected our parents, the police, our teachers. It's not like that anymore. So, yes, there was a lot of people here for him, because he was very well known, very well loved. They loved inviting him to cookouts and to hunting. How funny, Bobby. Is it hunting season right now? Yep. He left during hunting season, so he's probably hunting or fishing up there. Everybody says he's walking the streets of gold. No, he's probably hunting or fishing, knowing Dad. Yeah. And cheering the Cowboys on. That we did know. I love him, and I'm going to miss him. And thank you, everybody, for being here. If you all have a story to share about my dad, come and share that funny story about Dad, Dad's side of the family is a little bit different, I always say, but there's a lot of them, because my dad was raised with his uncles. So his uncles were more like brothers, and then his cousins, well, I don't know if they were like tios. So it's kind of hard, like whenever we see you all, like, do we call you cousin? Do we call you tio? We don't know. But my dad was raised by his mother, Aurora Tijerina Martinez. Okay, she was married, but she didn't live with her husband. She stayed with her parents. I don't know why, but she did. Her grandparents also raised him, Josefa Tijerina and Manuel Tijerina Sr. My favorite memories are being at Grandma Rora's house, because we would play bingo in the porch at her house or the neighbor's house, or we would just sit outside the porch and watch cars go by. You're thinking, how boring. But for us, that was exciting. We would eat from the trees, the anacuas, the oranges, the tangerines. We'd make lemonade. We'd smoke Grandma's cigarettes when Grandma would say, ve, tráeme un cigarro. Okay, Grandma. And it'd come back halfway gone. Sorry, this is all that's left. The sweets, Grandpa Manuel did have diabetes. He didn't have his legs. He had them cut off. And he loved his sweet bread, so maybe that's where he got that from. Yeah. So we are a big family, and it's so funny that we're planning another Tijerina reunion, and this time Dad's not going to be there, but he'll be there in spirit, and we will represent him proudly. We all are Zepeda. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I wrote something, but I have really bad stage fright, so I'm going to try to get through it as best as possible. Thank you all for being here to honor my grandpa. Sorry, wait, hold on, give me 2 seconds. When I think about him, the first word that comes to mind is steady. He was steady in the way that he lived, the way that he worked, and the way that he loved his family. He was stern. He was very, very stern. But he was loving and dedicated, and he showed his love through actions, small, everyday moments that add up to a lifetime of memories. My grandpa and my grandma got married 25 years ago, and he is the only father that I've ever known. He's the only figure that I've ever had. So he was really important to me. Some of my earliest memories with him are simple ones, but they mean everything to me now. The first that comes to mind is that every morning, 6 a.m. on the dot, he would walk me to the school bus stop, and without fail, we'd stop at a little store on the corner of our apartment complex, and he would buy me a chocolate milk. He would always buy me a chocolate milk, and he would buy me a pan dulce, and he would send me on my way. And it really wasn't about the treat to me, but I feel like it was his way of making sure that I felt cared for and that I started each day knowing that I wasn't by myself. And I knew I wasn't because he was there and my grandma was there. My grandpa worked tirelessly, not just at his job, but at being the kind of man who gave his family what they needed. When life was difficult, when things at home weren't the way they should have been, he and my grandma stepped in. They gave me safety, they gave me love, and they gave me a chance at a real childhood, going as far as to walk me across the neighborhood every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday so I could see one of the only friends I had at the time. He made sure I tried my best, that I stayed focused, and that I knew that I was worth something. And when things got especially hard with my parents, he opened his home to me. He put a roof over my head, and more importantly, he did his best to shield me from the darker things life had to offer. He was more than just a grandfather to me. He was the only father that I had ever really known. And while I wish I had him for longer, I will forever be grateful that I had him as the father figure I needed. He changed my life, and I can only hope he knew how big of an impact he made on me. I'll carry that gratitude with me forever. He loved fishing and camping and watching sports. He loved being outdoors, working with his hands and keeping busy, but more than anything, he loved his family. He poured himself into protecting us, providing for us, and guiding us. That's the kind of man I remember him to be. It hurts really deeply to say bye, and it hurts that it feels like it ended way too soon, even though he lived a really long life, like a really, really long life. But I want to promise him and myself that I will do everything in my power to make him proud, to live the lessons he taught me, to work hard and keep trying, and love with the same steady devotion he showed all of us. So, to my grandpa, thank you. Thank you for the mornings, for the weekends, for the shelter, and for the love. Thank you for stepping into the role of a father when I needed one most, and for never letting me forget how much I mattered. I really do love you, and I will miss you more than words can say. And I really hope that you rest peacefully knowing that your love lives on in me and in everybody in this room. And to my family, I know that our hearts are heavy right now, and it may feel impossible to fill the space that Grandpa left behind. But I also know that we carry him with us in the stories we share, in the lessons he taught, and in the love he gave so freely. I think we should hold on to that love and carry forever forward together, because even though he's gone, I won't ever believe the gift of who he was will ever leave us. That's it.
On behalf of both families, your family and mine, we want to thank you for being here and for all the kind words, the hugs, the prayers. They're very much needed because it really hurts. It really hurts to lose them. We weren't expecting it. Friday was his birthday. I called him. I spoke to Sylvia. Sylvia was, because Dad couldn't hold the phone anymore, she was telling him what I was saying, and then he would tell her, and then she would tell me what he's saying. And I asked her, can we see him on Sunday? And she says, yeah. And then she said, well, call me. I'll call you. She goes, well, Sunday, for Sandra, it was raining, and she doesn't like driving in the rain. And so I didn't want to go see her I didn't want to go see Dad without her. And so I told her, well, I might get another day, not knowing that there was not another day. So don't wait until tomorrow. Do it today, because life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. We both loved him very much. My dad was a great role model, had a lot of love to share with both families. We're all going to miss him. We're all going to miss him, and everybody has good memories of him, I hope. But we want to thank everybody for coming and doing whatever you did to make us feel better. We love you all. Thank you.